Okay, we're going to try to install WSL, which is Windows Subsystem for Linux. This is basically Windows has a new project that installs a Linux kernel alongside the Windows kernel, and it gives you access to the Windows command line, where you can access all of your files in Windows using the Linux command line. And you can also have access to Linux programs. It's incredibly powerful, very, very useful. It's an amazing tool. So we're going to try to install that today in this video. So just open up a web browser and go to your search engine and type in install WSL. And the first link here is Microsoft Docs. Okay, Windows Subsystem for Linux. So this process used to be very long and manual and rather frustrating. Okay, so but luckily there's a new simplified install, and you can just open up a terminal and type WSL space -- install. Okay. So it says this simplified install requires you join the Windows Insiders program. All right, so let's see if it just works. So I'm going to so there I need to open a command line with administrator privileges, so I'm going to type CMD over here and then right click and run as administrator. Yes. And then now I'm going to type WSL -- install. We'll see if this works. Okay, so it appears this document might be a little bit old. It doesn't look like you have to join the Insiders program to do this anymore, so that's nice. So it automatically installs Ubuntu as the Linux operating system of choice, which is good. That's by far the most used Linux distribution, at least in my experience, and it has a very friendly terminal experience. So this is the one I would have picked anyway. And so right now it's downloading the Ubuntu kernel to install it. Now there's lots of different flavors of Linux, lots of different operating systems, and Ubuntu is just one of those. But if you want something else, you can change which operating system is installed, which terminal experience is installed. All right, so it looks like it may have worked. Right, so changes will not be effective until the system is rebooted. All right, so let's go ahead and reboot. I'm going to close that and reboot here. Restart. So I am on a virtual machine in my Linux computer, so we can just restart without having to stop the video. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, or I will have to edit it out. Here we go. All right, you can fast forward through this. Apologies. It's finishing up the install. Okay. And we can just log in with our user, and in the search bar, let's see if we can type WSL, and so there it is. We can click on that, and now we see we have WSL.exe. Okay, so now it's finishing the work it did before. It's installing Ubuntu, and here we go. So we have this icon. This is the Ubuntu icon. We can right click, we can pin this to the taskbar, and now we should be able to once this finishes, there is a little error here. Press any key to continue. We'll try that again. Okay, so the virtual machine could not be restarted because the required feature is not installed. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We're going to search this and see if we can find a solution to this problem. Let's copy that, open up a browser, and paste that in, and we'll see what we find. All right, can't seem to get this error message. Let's see if there are any answers. So enable CPU virtualization on your BIOS. Okay, so I am using Windows Virtual Machine. So I need to make sure virtualization is enabled on Virtualbox. Virtualbox, enable virtualization. So you can enable the nested virtualization feature in one of the following ways. So from the Virtualbox manager, select enable nested VTX Amdv. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We'll see if we can do this while the virtual machine is running. It might not work. Let's go to settings. And I want to go to system, enable nested. Okay, so that's checked already, so that's good. All right, so that aspect is taken care of. Second, you're going to want to have to enable the Hyper-V Windows feature. Okay, so this is a Windows feature. Okay, so they want us to search for Windows features. I think this would be enabled automatically by the script, and we want to look for Hyper-V. So Windows Hypervisor Platform, I think that's what they are talking about. We click OK. Okay, so that's good. We're going to close this. We might have to reboot, but let's go ahead and try first. Okay. So that didn't work. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that we can try before we reboot. Alright, let's see what this is. Alright, let's just try to reboot and see where that gets us. Hopefully, once we've enabled the hypervisor, this will all work out fine. So again, just fast forward the video here. I may get to editing this, but I don't know if I have time, so I might just throw it up as is. If so, I apologize. Just scoot ahead until you see the reboot. All right, so we've rebooted. Log in. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we still have this error. let's check again and see what else we can find out. Okay, so virtualization setting itself is disabled in the BIOS. So it could be still a VirtualBox issue. WSL2. Let's see if we got anything here. Okay, so it looks like VirtualBox and VMware have released versions that support WSL2. So we'll click on the changes there to see what we find. Okay, let's double check our VirtualBox version. So about VirtualBox, and we are using 6.1. All right. So 6.1. That's the latest. So we have the right version. Let's see what other settings there might be in VirtualBox. Let's click on the settings. Advanced. Go to System. So this, I believe, is the virtualization setting, and it's checked. Right? I don't think you can modify these when it's running. That's fine. We might see how many processors. We've got 7 processors. That should be enough. Well, I'm not sure, but hopefully for most of you, that is enough to get it installed. I will have a post in the comments if I find the solution to running it in VirtualBox, but the vast majority of you won't have that issue. But in your BIOS, make sure when you boot up your computer, you can enter the BIOS, and you can look online how to do that. But make sure you have virtualization enabled in your BIOS, or this won't work. Okay. And if you can't get VirtualBox or WSL2 installed, you can always revert to WSL1, and you'll still have terminal access. You just won't have the graphical applications of Linux. So WSL2 allows you to run the graphical applications as well from the command line, which is really, really nice. So you basically get Linux programs inside of Windows, the graphical ones as well. So it's really nice. I would recommend WSL2 if you can get it installed. All right. So hopefully this helped. We got most of the way through, but I think this is just related to VirtualBox. So maybe we can sort that out, and I'll post in the comments if I find a solution. Thanks.